This is the place I was telling you about. Smell that aroma.
Doesn't it smell
good? Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this, of course,
Julia Hartley.
We have got a very special trip to share with you today, and the aroma in here, you don't know, but is tea and coffee, and it's going to be fantastic. 10 years ago, came to this wonderful place in deepest, darkest Kent to seek out the guru of tea and coffee. And it's here at the Tea and Coffee, the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. And we're going to meet Richard Smith, who actually is waiting at a table over there.
Hey.
Excited?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Come on. Richard!
Good morning, Richard.
So lovely to see you.
And you?
10 years.
Me too.
The lovely Julia.
Welcome to Pluckley again.
Ah, yes. Pluckley and deepest, darkest Kent. It's
Very
so
young and 10 years.
10 years. I see you've already got a welcome for us.
Time for tea.
Fantastic. Shall we sit down?
Have a pleasure.
Richard, thank you so much for agreeing to show us and tell us about tea.
Welcome back.
Yes, we came 10 years ago. It looks like you've got more handsome and
Yeah, but hey.
and not much has changed, which is great. Other than I know you've expanded and things have been going really well. So perhaps just to start with, you could tell our lovely viewers a little bit about how you got into the tea business.
Right. Well, we started our tea business in the village of Pluckley when we retired. The family retired from India, and the family, my mother and her parents, were based in Calcutta and Assam in India, and my grandparents went to India in the 1920s to become tea planters, and they were in Assam managing a tea estate until the late 50s, and then my father, who was a Gurkha officer, he came out of the Gurkhas and went to tea, and then I'm there, and then they retired to England, and as all tea European tea planters all had that natural progression back to living in the UK. And so when we arrived in the UK, the local grocer in the village square said, "Richard, can you find some tea for us?" Which obviously we could, and we did, and we called it Pluckley Tea and sold it in the village shop. And in the early days, we used to buy, we had a tea bag offering, and we used to buy tea chests of 10,000 tea bags, and by hand count out little piles of 10 tea bags with mother, and eight tens make 80 tea bags, and
yes.
And that's how we started. That was in a house in the village, and then after some time, mother was not so impressed with the tea everywhere, so we went to an industrial estate, where we're still at the industrial estate now. So we've been here since the mid 80s in this particular building.
Wow.
So that's quite some time, and then we've slowly expanded through the building, and now we have about 8,000 square foot of production and storage.
And your tea comes from all over the different tea.
We have teas from every original growing country: black teas, green teas, white teas, fruit teas, herbal tisanes. Yes, we have about 1,000 plus teas, and about 65 to 70 coffees at any one time, fresh roasted coffees. That so yeah, tea and coffee. And
people can find out all about you obviously on the internet, and you do e-sales as well. Online
on the teaandcoffee.com site, we have our online shop. Yes, and you can buy any size of packets. You can buy 50 grams, or you can buy 1 kilo, and we do a lot of trade supply, so we supply a lot of hotels and tea rooms and afternoon tea places. It's everyone drinks
tea.
Not everyone drinks coffee.
No. Well, I think it's very kind, because you've very kindly offered to let us do some tea tasting, which is absolutely amazing. You've got a whole range of different teas on the table. Perhaps you could just quickly tell us some of them, because they look so good to eat.
A lot of times it's in the eye to see.
Yes.
We have our chamomile flowers, our Egyptian chamomile flowers from the Nile Delta. We have our Cretan mountain tea from the high mountains of Crete, and picked by shepherds that we personally No.
Yes.
Some Chinese Yingzhen silver needle, which is the very top first flush teas, white teas, very little processing. And then we have our Blue Lady tea, which we've got a pot on waiting our tastings.
Looking forward to that.
Which is a very fine aroma.
Yes. With grapefruit and
Earl Grey. It's an Earl Grey with a bit of oomph. Named after a blue lady who wanders around the most haunted village of Pluckley late evenings. And then we have a red berry fruit cocktail, which is a fruit tisane, which is hibiscus and apple pieces and rose petals, and that's just a fruit tisane.
Right.
Then we have a lavender Versailles Earl Grey, which is an Earl Grey with lavender laced through it, and cornflowers for a bit of the visual.
Oh right, yeah.
The technicality.
Oh okay.
And this is a Mango and Friends, which is a mango, like a compote tea, and again let that brew nicely, and 8-10 minutes you have a real mango surprise to drink with your friends.
Of course. Well, I think you've certainly whet my appetite, and I know Julia also is very excited. So shall we get down to some tea tasting? Fine. So here we are with the table laid out as if we were having an afternoon tea, which is a lovely English tradition.
Absolutely. Mid-afternoon?
Mid-afternoon in Kent and Sussex. So what tea are we going to start with?
We're going to start with some Blue Lady, which is a black tea flavoured. It's based on an Earl Grey and with a grapefruit hint on it.
That one right out of the way.
Named after the Blue Lady who wanders the village at night.
The ghost of Pluckley.
Yeah. So we have a white lady tea and we have a blue lady tea, but Blue Lady is the more popular of the two. The ladies.
Yes.
So
are you going to pour? You be mother.
Making pouring.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So this is this. So this tea itself is not. It's already been. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's been infused, and the tea leaves removed. So it's not, otherwise, black tea can become quite harsh and bitter if you over brew it. So this has been brewed and the tea leaves removed. So it's got a little strainer in there, and the tea leaves are lifted. And again, this is a sort of 3. I'm more of a 4 minutes for a Blue Lady.
Right, are you?
Myself.
Now, there's a technique to tea tasting. It's not just we're just having a lovely tea party and minding our own business. But there's a technique. Could you just tell us and demonstrate?
When we're tea tasting, you would obviously, if you were tea tasting, you would. We have tea tasting bowls upstairs, and then you would. And normally you would you'd have your copper spittoon lurking beside you, and
right.
you would
spit it out.
Yeah, but otherwise you'd drink a lot of tea during the day.
But we're not going to do that.
We won't spit.
No. Fantastic. Well,
so yes, the Blue Lady has a nice citrus note.
You really smell the grapefruit in it. So Richard, which one are we trying next?
Right, next we are going for the red berry fruits, which is a fruit tisane, which is natural pieces of hibiscus and apple and rose petals, and
it's one of the best smelling ones, I have to say.
They have a wonderful. They look beautiful and they're very visual, and they are fruit infusions, and you need to just brew them for 8 to 10 minutes to get all the fruit flavour fully out of them.
Yes.
And then you end up with a nice bright liquor like that. And
it is a beautiful red, isn't it?
There we are. And again, these also make very nice if they're chilled down and iced down, but very refreshing for a mid-afternoon tea with a nice your scone and your cream tea.
It almost looks jelly coloured.
Very rich, and with a good brew, you do get a full flavour, full flavour tisane. And that's a red berry fruit, and there's all apple and lemon tisanes, peach and apple, and the Mango and Friends here is a similar. It's a fruit just fruit pieces.
Yeah.
You do get really rich, refreshing tea.
Richard, It's been an absolute joy to come and visit your company and your tea blending organisation here after 10 years. And I note your sense of humour has not diminished one iota. So much so that I remember the very first time I came here, you were telling me about the elephants. And of course, you've got this wonderful story with a journalist. Tell me about that.
Well, the journalist, I think, worked for the Ad Scene newspaper in Ashford, and back in the early 80s, he came along to make an interview, and he said, "Tell me where Pluckley tea came from." So I said, well, the Pluckley tea arrived, it's grown between Pluckley and Edgerton on the south-facing slopes, because the chap was, writing away and quite keen. And he wrote away, and then I said, yes, well, then we also have a couple of hundred of Indian tea pluckers that are all traditionally dressed, that they help in the season to pick the tea leaves. And he wrote away, and then I said, well, it was all going well. So I said, and we also have 3 elephants, a baby elephant and 2. And he wrote away, and then he said, well, can I perhaps go and see them, take a photo? And I said, I'm afraid it's a bit dangerous at the moment. It's the mating season, and we don't want any problems with journalists being trampled.
No, quite.
So, and he did publish.
So he wrote this article, and he swallowed your wonderful story, hook, line, and sinker.
Everything, and
he published.
He published, but he didn't stay in that profession for many weeks after that, apparently, allegedly.
Yes, he's found another profession.
Yes, he had
writing
to
fairy tales.
Yes, he had to leave. Yes, he had to leave.
Oh, wonderful. And I know that you tried to sell that story to us 10 years ago when I came to do my podcast about the elephants, and we still don't know whether they are real or not.
It's a mystery. If you look out over the fields now, you can see
wildebeest. It's so wonderful to come back and see that you've expanded since I last here. You seem to have got so much more tea on your shelves. We've done some wonderful tasting. I know Julia has thoroughly enjoyed it, as I have. You enjoyed it, haven't you?
Of course.
And we are now going to what's the word I'm looking at? Where you look at things? What's the word? I can't think of the word. What's the word when you look at something? With a P, doesn't matter. We're going to peruse. Thank you. Peruse. We're going to peruse the brews.
Have a perusal.
Have a perusal of your shelves, and go away and take some tea home.
Fantastic.
Which is
thank you for coming across.
And we
all the way.
A pleasure. And we, of course, would hope that the viewers will check out the website, see some of your wonderful teas and coffees as well. We're going to have to come back and do coffee, because we've never done the coffee.
Coffee and the fire, and the great fire.
Oh yes, the great fire of Pluckley.
Yes, there have been a few.
Have to have. Yes, Richard, thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy. And we will see you again. Well, Julia, wasn't that a fantastic and successful trip?
Yes, I think it was.
Tea and coffee. I mean, we didn't do the coffee, but the tea. Divine. What did you think?
Yeah, it was lovely. Really nice teas to try.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment. And why not check out their website? It's definitely well worth it. I'll leave the link in the description, which is great. Oh, what was that?
Did you hear that? I think it came from over there.
Do you think he had a point?
There might actually be elephants here?
We're going to go and investigate. We'll see you next time from us. Bye-bye.
Oh, it was again.
Let's get it.